From the NewsChannel 5 network, this is SportsLine.
Welcome, everybody, to SportsLine. It is a Tuesday night. Steve Lehman off tonight. He is taking some well-deserved time off. So yours truly, Jon Burton, sitting in for him on a Tuesday night. Happy to be here on NewsChannel 5 Plus. We are all in the house. 615-737-7767, of course, is the number to call. Yours truly hosting, our very enthusiastic producer, Taylor Prey, taking your phone calls as well. So a lot to get to tonight. Tonight we're going to be joined by Terry McCormick from TitansInsider.com. He's covered the Titans since 1997. So he knows any and all things Tennessee Titans. He's got some exciting things going on with him that he'll be doing this season, assuming we have one. So the Titans, of course, back to training camp this morning at St. Thomas Sports Park. A spirited workout. Of course, yesterday, as Steve probably mentioned, 21 veterans sitting out Titans practice yesterday, allowing for the bubble guys, if you will, the guys in the middle to the bottom of the roster to get an opportunity to have a good practice in full pads and do some hitting. Coach Vrabel was very, very active today out there mixing it up with his offensive and defensive linemen, teaching them some pass rush and some pass protection techniques. So we'll talk about Terry McCormick. We'll talk to Terry McCormick about all that coming up next segment here on NewsChannel 5 Plus here on SportsLine. Once again, your phone calls are welcome. 737-7767 is the number to call. Your thoughts on the Titans this year and the state of college football. You know by now that the SEC is playing this year. The Big Ten is not. The ACC is playing. The Big 12 plans to play for now. And the college football season will actually get underway this Saturday night as Austin Peay will be in action, a nationally televised game on ESPN, taking on Central Arkansas. That game to be played in Montgomery, Alabama. So the college football season will be underway this Saturday night. So a lot of eyes on the Austin Peay program. They're coming off their best season ever, of course, the OVC championship. And a couple of wins in the FCS playoffs. So certainly a big season for them last year as they look to duplicate, if not better, what they did last year. But we're going to start things off, talk a little Titans with you. Head coach Mike Vrabel meeting the media via Zoom today after today's practice.
Hey, Mike, Greg Joseph was on this roster for 5 games at the end of last season, made 1 field goal. At this point, how closely is this competition with Tucker McCann going? And when a couple of kicks are missed, do you wait to see how the kicker comes back the next day? Or is this maybe a kicking competition that's tightening?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a competition. I mean, that's the idea, where it's hard to do that at every position. But there's some positions that we, always feel like, have to have some competition there. It makes everybody better. It's what we believe in. And, I think that those guys have done a good job. Greg made all, those extra points, are practically field goals now. And, so he was kicking. He kicked good for us last year when he came in. So obviously those pressure kicks that we had, some of those today, we got to continue to work on them and make them as they get longer.
Coach, I had a request if you could tilt the camera just a little bit to center you up a little bit. Eric, do you have a question?
Yeah. Hey, Mike. I was actually going to ask about the kickers, but instead,
who made that request, Bobby?
Our digital folks, because we're streaming it live.
Just say Ashley did it, and I'll gladly move it to wherever Ashley wants it.
Good. Eric? Are you good?
Wanted to ask you about one of the undrafted rookies. I'm curious about your impressions of Mason Kinsey and just how he's adjusted from going from Division III to an NFL training camp.
Well, those guys did a great job. They came into camp ready to go. As far as alignments, normally the first couple of days you're worried about, these guys coming out of the huddle wrong, lining up, running the wrong route. So I think that as this install continues to pile up and now adding 2-minute, it's important that these guys are able to focus and concentrate, when they get tired and we're not huddling and they don't have the same amount of time. to understand their job and the details that go along with it. So, Mason has shown to be tough and dependable out there and continue to work.
Teron?
Yeah, Coach, with Tannehill, this being his second year with you, how have you seen his leadership kind of evolve now that he's settled in?
Well, that was something that we had talked about last year, when given the opportunity to be the starter. Ryan worked his way in there and played well. And then as that comfort level began to grow, he really expanded his leadership and took off in the off season. And, I'd say it's better now than what it was last year and working with those guys and having a relationship with them and, understanding that each receiver is going to run the same route a little differently and where they're going to be to be able to complete passes.
Joe?
Mike, just wondering what you're seeing from Ferkser this year. You're seeing progress, improvement from last year to this year?
Yeah, I think Ferk works hard. He's been a matchup guy for us, been key on third down, made some big catches for us. And I think that ability has shown thus far in camp. He's really tried to work against our safeties and those players in the one-on-ones, and he's caught some passes in the team period. So, again, he'll continue to carve out a role, hopefully on special teams and having a role on our offense.
Corey?
Hey, Coach. Just want to ask you about Khalif Raymond and the development of his game. We all know he can go get it. What else is he showing you he can do?
Well, again, I think he's worked on his route craft. The thing with Khalif is he's not the biggest guy. And so, with that, sometimes they're going to try to create contact and try to knock him off his stride or press him. So I think he's worked hard at his releases. I think he's worked hard at running intermediate routes and having some really good route craft. And, as always, any receiver, can always improve his ability to catch the football and in traffic.
Jim?
I know still a little ways off, and some players that are practicing now won't be with you when the season opener starts. But what's the process like as far as turning your attention to Broncos and maybe do some early prep for them? Coaches doing it, or what's that process like?
We're trying to improve the Titans right now. That's really where we're at. I would only imagine that the Broncos game plan would pick up where last year's ended. And then probably, again, Vic's a fantastic coach, fantastic defensive coach. They got great players, great staff. And, we hadn't scored a point on them in 4 quarters. So my best guess is that plan would pick up until we were able to actually score. So we got a lot of improvement to do here.
Paul?
Hey, Mike. Wondering about Ryan's command of the offense, of the huddle, of everything. What level of command do you feel like he has of the whole deal, and how much does the whole offense and maybe the whole team feed off of that?
We're trying to, create complementary plays. We're trying to get into the best play, but not get, too gimmicky as far as like, hey, having a play call, but not liking the look. And so I think he's improving on that. I think him and Arthur, their relationship is continuing to grow. But, as far as the base of what we're asking him to do, I think he's got a great grasp, and I think guys feed off of that. The operation, the cadence, the change in plays at the line of scrimmage, all those types of things are great. And then we're going to continue to expand to try to give us the best chance that we can based on what looks we're getting.
All right, Titans head coach Mike Vrabel meeting with the media after practice today as Titans training camp rolls on. Unusual as it is at St. Thomas Sports Park with no preseason games. The Titans get ready for their season opener in less than a few weeks now They'll be in Denver for a Monday night game against the Broncos to kick off the season. Let's take our first call tonight, and we'll go to Lewis on line 1. Hi, Lewis.
Hey, John, how you doing?
Good. What's happening? Thanks for calling.
I just want to tell you, man, I always follow you up on Sundays, and I appreciate you, man, what you be doing in sports.
Thank you.
I got a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
I watch you. You had a bunch of wrestlers on there. How did it ever turn out?
Had a bunch of wrestlers on. It was great. We had a fun show. We had some of the NWA guys and Tried and True Wrestling as well. My buddy Crimson, my other buddy Jax Dane, my other buddy Bram. Yeah, they're great guys, and you know, we had a really fun show. We had a good time.
And I just want to tell you, I always follow you, man. You're great to spy, man, and hope I get a chance to meet you one day. And
yeah, we'll make that happen for sure.
You and the other, I like the other sportcaster. He's real. Y'all do a beautiful job, man.
Thanks.
I watch you every Sunday night and constantly watch your sports. Y'all do a good job.
Thanks.
John.
Thanks. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. I know Steve appreciates that as well.
I tell him I say hello and.
Okay. Did you have a question on the Titans, or did you have a sports question or anything, or?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I want to know whatever happened to who took number 99?
Jarrell Casey.
Yeah.
Well, it's going to be Jeffrey Simmons, their top draft pick from last year. He's finally healthy with his knee. He looks to have a great season. I think he's going to be potentially every bit as good as Jarrell Casey was. And then, you know, you'll have Daquan Jones in there, and you'll have any number of guys. But the main guy is going to be Jeffrey Simmons.
Okay, what about number 22?
Derrick Henry?
Yeah.
What about him?
He still be around?
Yeah, he just signed a new contract. He's not going anywhere for a while. So, yeah, he's good to go.
Yeah, I tell you, when a long time ago when they used to be the Oilers, man, I used to follow them all the time, man.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, a lot of people, so I'm proud of them because they had their ups and downs. I tell everybody, the Titans they gonna get better. You know, they had a couple of problems, you know, like some of the guys was out hurt, but they fight us. They don't give up. They'll keep coming back. They don't care how long they get down, but they come back.
Well, they showed a lot of resiliency last year. You know, when you start a season 2-4 and you're able to win 7 out of your last 10 games and make the playoffs and get all the way to the AFC Championship game, that shows a lot of resiliency. Now, a lot of that had to do with the quarterback change with Ryan Tannehill, but they've got some real good leaders in that locker room, and John Robinson's put together a pretty good roster. So, you know, the culture has slowly changed. We remember the 2-14 year and the 3-13 year. You know, changes had to be made.
You remember Earl Campbell?
Of course, yeah.
Yes, sir. And
grew up watching him. Grew up watching him. Yep.
Yeah. Well, man, it's great to talking to you, and you keep it up. And
thanks, Lewis.
You have a nice one, John.
Thanks, Lewis. I appreciate it. All right. Nice to hear from Lewis on a Tuesday night. All right, we're going to take our first break. When we come back, we're going to talk more Titans. Terry McCormick will join us from TitansInsider.com. And that's just part of what he does. He's got some great things coming up for you Titans fans to keep up with everything that's going on. And we'll get to Terry in just a minute. Stay with us. We're back after this.